13/20 at 6 p.m. Let's start with pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. All right, we're going to start with a roll call, and we're going to do it a little bit differently just for the minutes. It makes it a little bit more clear. Just going to go and say the names, and then you say here or present or whatever. Councilor Miller.
Here.
Councilor Hart. Here. Councilor Hand.
Here.
Councilor Armstrong. Here. Councilor Pointer.
Here.
Councilor Ward.
Here.
All right. I'm present. All right. Next, we're going to go to changes to the agenda. Anyone have any changes?
Carl wants to know if we can move the camera to the right. So we can see if we can move the podium. I know, right? This is the way.
One was doing everything that was done in the past and what splitting the duties, and I didn't see it in the past.
Okay. We can add that as a discussion,
Oh, we should probably do.
I think, unless, were you going to touch on that at all today? The CPA situation?
I can.
Okay, if you want to do that, like, in your staff report?
Sure.
Okay.
And then there's no place for correspondence, so I think under new business, we received a correspondence, and I think we need to discuss whether or not we need to follow up on it and have an executive session. That would be under new business.
Correspondence.
An email we got.
Oh. Okay. I would like to. I don't know if we should add that to the agenda for tonight. If we have to address it.
If we have to address it and call for an executive session, then we have to do it in a meeting.
All right. What would you like to put that under?
New business?
As a discussion about correspondence?
Mayor?
Yeah.
Changes to the agenda are usually approved by the council.
Okay. Yeah, well, so let's go with the first one. Oh, the first one you're just going to discuss in the staff report. The second one concerning correspondence for an email that we received about possibly scheduling executive session. I'd like to take, do we make a motion or we just take a vote on that?
You would approve with the council to add it.
Okay.
If they would like to discuss it as well.
Okay. All right, well then let's take a vote if the council would like to add that to the agenda. Okay. Do we have a motion, please?
To approve the changes to the agenda?
As stated, yeah.
As stated.
Okay, second that.
All right, motion to approve the agenda with the addition of the correspondence has been made by Councilor Armstrong and seconded by Councilor Pointer. Any discussion?
I don't either.
Okay.
We received an email from an employee making accusations or allegations, and I think that they should be addressed. So we could schedule it for a later date to talk about it. It's not something you talk about in public.
There's a grievance process. Has that employee gone through the grievance process?
Where is it in our, I could not find it in our council rules or in our employee handbook. Could you find it? Do you know where it's at?
this is the first I'm hearing of it, so. um, Is that something you want me to look up right now?
Well, that's why if we just go ahead and add it, then we can talk about it when it comes time to schedule and then cancel. But I don't think it should be lost or forgotten.
I would like to. My thoughts on it, I would like to have legal counsel and involved in any sort of conversation about staff and stuff before we even bring it up at a meeting. So that's my thought on it.
Well, I was just thinking if we couldn't just schedule something that's far enough out, like next week, next Thursday, Friday, that would give us time to, to find out if there is a grievance process, because I could not find it. And if there is, the attorney can be, zoom in or something. I just thought it should be addressed because it was brought to our attention.
Any other discussion? All right. All right, we'll take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Nay. All right, motion passes to approve the agenda as stated with the addition on there. All right. And let's move on to the consent agenda.
Excuse me, because when you guys vote, because when we do the minutes, we can't hear who the yays and nays are. Could you please state your each person, please?
Okay. Would you like me to go back and do that?
Yes, please.
Okay. Counselor Pointer voted.
Yeah.
Okay, Counselor Ward, nay. Counselor Armstrong, yes. Nikki Wood, no. Counselor Hand, yes. Counselor Harden, yes. Counselor Miller, no. All right, let's move on to the consent agenda. Has anyone or everyone gotten a chance to look over that? And is there anything that needs to be, anyone would like to pull off for discussion? I personally would like to pull off the library staff report. There was a kind of an ask in there and I would like to just discuss it with council.
June 4th meeting, the date is wrong on it, and November 30th, the date is wrong on it. So I don't know to make corrections to it if you have to pull it out.
December 30th, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? All right. I have a motion. We would be making a motion to pull out or accept the consent agenda and pull out 2 of the minutes and the library staff report. No, I mean, I'm not supposed to really make the motions, but I was just trying to clarify. It was a little confusing. Could be pointing out.
No, I understand.
Okay.
The person we have.
Okay. I make a motion to approve the consent agenda. Sorry, I'm getting a little lost here. Do I make a motion to remove the things first and then make a motion to approve it?
You're approving to approve the consent agenda minus the library report, the June 4th report, and the December 30, or sorry, the June 4th minutes, the December 30th minutes.
On the library report. Got it. Yep. Okay. I make a motion to approve the consent agenda minus the June 4th meeting minutes, December 30th meeting minutes, and the library staff report. All right, the motion has been made by Mayor Wood and seconded by Councilor Hand to approve the consent agenda minus the 2 meeting minutes and the staff report. Any discussion? All right, we'll take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Can you tell me who? Names.
Yeah, I know they just said aye. So, right?
Is it unanimous?
I say all opposed.
No,
Just-
all in favor.
Oh, okay.
And I'm abstaining because I wasn't here.
Okay, I can.
Okay. You don't have to abstain. But you can.
All right. Everyone is in favor except for Counselor Armstrong is abstaining.
Thank you.
All right, we will add the discussion for those minutes in the staff report. First, under new business.
We also have Mr. Mortimer on,
Okay, we can move it after that then.
okay, so in 11A.
All right. We are moving into citizen comments. Do you have anyone signed up?
We have Sandy Lindell, it's a secret.
Okay.
It's a secret.
Sandy Lindahl, and I also have a lot, so hopefully I can get it all done. Number one, I want to know why within the last 3 months, we've had 3 employees quit or were terminated. We've never had that big of a turnover in anybody's term, whether it be as mayor or as city manager / reporter. I want to know why. That shows what she's like. Number 2, when you come in, say it was me or somebody else off the street and they have to pay a bill, and you come in and the city manager and the utility clerk or city clerk, share office, assistant, whatever, is in an open door office. They don't get up to greet you. They don't ask you if you need help. They don't ask if you have a bill to pay. I asked if they were in a meeting. They said yes. One of them could have gotten up and taken a bill paid for me. They didn't do that. That's unprofessional. Number 3, if you have business, if you look at any other business above their doors, it says these doors must remain unlocked during business hours. There's nothing on here. My husband came down to pay a bill and to hand a request at 2 o'clock and the doors were locked. Why? That's business hour. Why is the door locked? If there is somebody in this office, they need to have the door unlocked. Okay? Then the office hours state Monday through Friday, 9 to 12, lunch 12 to 1, and open 1 to 4. Why are they closed on Friday afternoon? They're supposed to be open 1 to 4. On this application or the requirements for this so-called, whatever she wanted to add and ask for, it says that works well with public and other employees, works under pressure and meet deadlines, off, interact with inquiries and complaints in an objective and unbiased manner. She doesn't do that herself. Why should she ask for anybody else to do that? Also, I just, Tina has been here a long time. Everybody liked Tina. Why are you handing off all of your jobs for this, whatever, your payroll, whatever, AP payroll, clerical, receptionist? I was going to recommend somebody that I know for this position, and then I got to think of why should I subject my friend to her?
All right, we're getting close. You got yeah, okay.
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sandy.
Doug Lindell, does 3 Spectrum City Hall.
That's my name is Doug Lind. I live here in Lakeside. As my wife said, I was down here at about 2 this afternoon to turn in a request for public information. I was met with a locked door. I finally After beating on the door for 5 minutes, I finally got her to pop her head out of the office and say, I'm on the phone. So I'm standing out there in the rain, waiting for her to open the door, so I give her a public information request. What kind of customer service is that? She's your leader. Right there. You know? Finally, when she took the request, she said, well, I've already given your wife all this. I said, no, you haven't. And she got all snooty about it. So I think the city hall needs to take another look at what's going on here. And that's just like my wife was saying too, Tina Laurie, she was the greatest in here for a long time. You know, and this, whatever, Krista, forget it. If it was up to me, I'd be asking for a resignation. Thank you.
Linda, Sharon, sorry,
Sure.
Sharon?
Yeah.
Sure. The topic is the holiday train.
Last month, I came here and did a little report in regards to the holiday trade. And I need either a yes or no. If you can't say it, put your heads and I'll count the nods. If you don't want it, just shake it. I'll count the shakes, and then that gives me an idea of what I.
Yeah, do you need a motion or anything? Can we just all agree that it's all right? We train to go out?
Usually, I never got me.
Yeah.
I think that's fine. But this year they're going to need a plug-in, correct?
I'm just asking, you know, we did plug in with the rest of the things. This is the first year that we've ever had lights.
Oh,
So it's not that we've had lights for the last 6 years, it's the very first year that we've actually had lights. And Dennis had thought that, you know, plugging into the side would work. So if you can, that's great. If not, we'll just plug into what's, you know, already there. So
Yeah.
it's just something that you can think about.
The outlet thing we can get to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't have to do it now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, does everyone agree we can put the holiday?
I think if you also, if you give her a couple of years or something like that, she don't have to come back.
Probably like that in writing for a couple of years. I mean,
I think under your report, we should then make a decision because we don't want to set a precedent that we're going to engage or talk. But we can, she can do it in.
And that's all from public comment.
all right. Let's move into this agenda we have here. The memo update from Dire Engineering on the wastewater plants. Has everyone gotten a chance to read that? All right. Is there any questions on it, or Krista, would you like to elaborate on it? Is it just informational?
It's informational and, sorry, I'm trying to get to that spot. I don't remember exactly what it says. If it doesn't, we're the first city to go out with ARPA funds for a wastewater project to bid. So we should be very excited about that. We're kind of pioneering that. And also I got an email from him today saying that he got a very good turnout for the bids. So they're going to extend it to accommodate for the next council meeting. So we will be awarding bids at the next meeting.
All right, is there any other questions on that? Council?
What about the issue with ninth river material on the concrete? Is that been resolved?
Oh,
The materials.
Dyer has reached out to ninth river to assist in those concerns.
I will have to ask. I didn't hear anything about that today.
Aaron's usually pretty on top of. Aaron's usually pretty on top of stuff, and I can email him too and just reach out and see what you have to say about that. Let you guys know. All right. Any other discussion? All right, we'll move on to the 8th Street property. Something that has been waiting over our heads for a while. Everyone got a chance to see the appraisal. And I wanted to have a discussion. This is like, obviously gonna have to be a bigger discussion in the workshop. But if we want to do a whole workshop for it, if, you know, anyone has ideas, we can start, like, I just wanted to get it on the agenda and get the appraisal out there, so.
I think it would warrant a whole work session just for that, probably, about this possible division.
Yeah.
I agree.
I would really like, public input too, as far as, what people would like to see in there. You know, just ideas from the community as well. So when we do that workshop, try to.
Typically, we wouldn't have comments.
Right.
Work session, but
Yeah.
we can choose to add that. It seems appropriate.
I would like to personally have, you know. citizen input in that.
Would this be something that is a big enough project that when we send out the sewer bills, we actually put maybe something in the sewer bill in an envelope? Because in the past, they've done it pretty on big items and say, we want your input, you know, or your suggestions, and please submit them or come.
We don't use envelopes.
Well, you can if certain times, and we have in the past when we wanted to get information out beside the car. So it's a one time.
Can you just add some text?
We can add text. So is it a town hall where you maybe get more input and then take that information to the work session? Or is it all in one night?
It'd be kind of nice to have it all in one night. I mean, what do you guys think? Yeah.
In my mind, I feel like it's gonna be a couple meetings probably in this. That we should probably have a workshop where we allow public comments, but it's mainly for us. So to get our thoughts together, and maybe that leads into a city or into a town hall meeting. That, you know, then the council has its thoughts together. We've heard once from the public, then we can hear from them a little more extent.
Start with a work session that allows public comment.
However you would like to do it. If people do bring up suggestions that you do need to look into, that maybe you hadn't thought of, that might give you some time if there's separation. But that's, again, completely up to you.
I think it's just important to get the word out to the public, to let them have input. There's gonna be people that are gonna want to have it just go on the market sold. There's gonna be people that do this and this, and I think it's important to have everybody feel like they.
I have an idea. If we can just add text on the sewer bill, put when that work session is and say,
Yeah.
street property work session, we would love to hear from you type thing.
Yeah.
That way we're not.
Right, that's
sending
kind of right.
letters and all that stuff.
Right,
Yeah.
that's why I'm trying to gather what it is you're looking for so that we know what.
Like them.
Yeah.
I know it's time consuming, but if they, can you highlight it? Because how many people, there's a bunch of bins, I'm not sure there's been the money to do an envelope with Lucy and send out a flyer saying, so we're at a workshop. To let people know, because there are some people that they get the bill, they just pay it. They don't see it, or can you print it in red or something for them?
We'll do something.
Okay,
Yeah.
something to notify them so that they know we're listening to them.
Usually like on Word, you can choose to have it highlight with the text.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the cards have, but I don't think we can highlight the card, but we could do a flyer or something and put it on the board.
We'll get the work out.
When does when did the sewer bills get sent out?
The 25th.
Okay, so it won't work for this next work session on February 27th. see down here.
And then we're gonna be getting into budget too, so.
So maybe we can, come to some agreement that maybe sometime in March, since we're doing work sessions every 2 weeks anyways, it can be the one after the March 13th regular meeting. So it'd be the week following, or whenever our next work session is, 2 weeks following.
So you're looking at, 2 weeks after the March meeting would be March 27th.
Okay.
And then that's also budget law training day
Oh,
at 9.
um,
Bump it up a
day,
day or two or
yeah,
this work session.
that's fine.
I hope that's also spring break. Do you have anything planned? I don't, but. It's spring.
Might you do it before one of the council meetings, just maybe a little bit earlier,
So it'd be the
like the 13th,
April 13th meeting,
March?
March 13th? I wouldn't mind that, but we want to allow for,
I think
we got
about
2 hours.
yeah.
I think, and then depending on how heavy the agenda is in March, it might
Yeah.
be another,
I think it needs a separate.
yeah. I'm with doing March 27th or the 26th. Whatever works for you guys. I would rather just have one full long day of just sitting than.
Yeah.
Personally.
What do we feel about the week of the 17th?
Fine. Yeah, I don't have anything going on, so are we thinking the 17th?
Well, just that week, like the 18th or 19th. We also have budget training on the 20th, so kind of wanted to have some, the 20th and the 27th, so 18th or 19th, maybe?
I don't have my kids Monday night on the 17th, that would be best for me, everyone. 17th.
St. Patrick's.
We do it like at 5, now people who work, maybe they need time to get there,
They really,
for things.
We can all wear green. St. Patrick's Day.
Or get pink.
Yeah.
17.
It's a Monday.
Monday.
Okay. That would be good.
So I won't be sending another copy of the appraisal in the packet, correct?
Yeah.
As long as it's available.
Right. All right, any other discussion on that? All right, let's move on to item 10, the code enforcement officer / administrative assistant. Any questions or discussions?
I feel like we need to put like, expected amount of orders maybe. Because this is a lot of stuff to put on somebody that's only gonna be around, a limited amount of hours. And it's a volunteer position, so it's not like we could be like, you can be here for 40 hours.
Yeah, I kind of, wanted to slim down the actual functions as much as, essential
Yeah.
tasks as much as we could. Because we don't want to ask too much for someone. But,
Right.
Were there particular ones you felt might need trimmed?
so. In the first one, the code enforcement officer position. The.
Are we looking at administrative assistant or the officer?
But this is the first one, the code enforcement officer position. Oh,
That's not.
no, it's not. Oh, I'm sorry.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. That one. sorry, okay, so I was looking at that one, okay, give me a second. Okay. There's something in here that you guys can move along if you have something else, but.
If you don't mind,
Right, yeah.
the administrative portions, it really is, I think, fairly slimmed down. There's not, you could just set, up to 20 hours or something like that, if that's, what you're looking to do.
Is it a good idea to set a minimum number of hours and a maximum number? Cause I hate to bring somebody on and then they don't take it seriously and they, don't- they don't show up and really I'm helpful. How do we hold them to some standard if we don't?
If you start with a maximum and and I need to change it, I can do that. But that way they know it's not full-time, like,
Right.
Counselor Harden said, and a minimum number, there might be, I don't know, you get down 6 months down the road, what if that month they're, on vacation in the Caribbean or something, are we gonna say, well, you didn't do your, 10 hours a
No,
month?
I think we can, in a quick sentence, we could say that we expect it to be 10 to 20 hours a week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And, if that's not gonna be possible, we're, with it, but just a basic expectation, I feel like that's.
It's easy to be like, well, I'm just a volunteer.
It's under, this is, okay, sorry, I'm on the, code enforcement officer one now.
Still covers on this assistant. I think we need to relook at the job description. We say anything from a receptionist, filing, letter writing, and it's preparing policy. We have is required e-permitting, which is planning, building, electrical permit. What exactly is this person supposed to do? I thought it was code
that is the code.
for receptionist.
It's not a receptionist position, it is an administrative assistant position that is where code enforcement will live, is in e-permitting.
So it says summary, this position provides support to the code enforcement officers for duties ranging from receptionist and filing, letter writing to information tracking reports and record keeping.
The job isn't a receptionist, you might have to answer a phone. That's, I mean, but it also says assisted answering phone, so the e-permitting is gonna be required to follow the case files. So,
Or is e-permitting, then help me understand e-permitting. I thought it was for planning and it's for public, building permits, electrical permits.
so code enforcement is all code, it's not a nuisance. All code.
You were explaining to me that, with the new e-permitting system, they have a whole code enforcement file tracker module in that. So I think when you mean under e-permitting, it's under e-permitting, but it's also the whole code enforcement module within that system. Is that kind of what they'd be working with?
It will be this, so it will be the same. For example, if somebody has a complaint about maybe somebody, smashed a culvert and then come to find out, they never had a permit for their driveway or or whatever. But some of that stuff will be intertwined. Some of it will be planning. Let's say you find out that they, never got a building application as a result of the complaint. So one thing might turn into another and they will work together. The module specific to code enforcement is so that we can track files. So if one particular property you have over and over and over again, and no matter who is here, they will be able to go into the file and they'll be able to look at the history. And then you can also restrict them from getting other permits until they clear their nuisance or whatever, maybe they need to get rid of some vehicles. That person will have to track those things in e-permitting.
Okay, so it's not issuing permits and that kind of stuff. It would just use the system to do the code enforcement part.
Yeah.
Okay. then it's, you also have down assist city manager, city clerk, planner, public works, wastewater, and the preparation of staff reports. With like wastewater staff reports.
Well, sometimes there's wastewater complaints. And so sometimes those are code issues. So you might need information from the complaint for a recommendation staff report.
Is there any other discussion about the administrative assistant portion? And so are we in agreement that the only changes that would need to be made was adding an hour amount?
10 to 20 hours is what we're,
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
All right, is there any other changes? Finally. So do I have a motion for Krista or approval for Krista to go ahead and post this position? Make a motion on it.
You'd be waiting to do both.
Get down a little bit. Okay, let's move on to the code enforcement officer position. The thing that stood out to me, one of them for the abilities was apprehend animals mentally and physically, handle large, forceful and or vicious animals. I think we had talked about that with the county and stuff. Would we have that person do that, or is that more of a?
no, we can remove that. What section are you under, please?
This is under abilities.
Under abilities.
Also, you have in here the maintain departmental equipment, supplies, and maintain appearance of city vehicle. Are we supplying a city vehicle for them to drive around in?
Yes.
Would it be the little car?
Or from the ranger or whichever, but they would want to check the maintenance when they use the vehicle.
Okay. And then it says may assist with public and school programs, crime prevention, and other law enforcement agencies. Is that kind of, I think the public and school programs we could probably remove. I mean, we want them to help with crime prevention with the county, I would think, but I don't know about the public and school programs.
Can we clarify, this is whether this is a volunteer position as well? Okay, but it noted the same way.
So let's add.
Oh, okay, I see.
It's just a different song.
And we want to add hours to this as well, right?
It says Department Public Works. Is that the place? I mean, the other one says City Hall, this says Public Works Department.
Normally they're under the police department. So I don't know, that's not administrative. You don't know where else to put them.
And does that then put any sort of supervisory needs on any of our other public works folks, or is that gonna come back to your office?
On the first page, section number 3, you have it to question witnesses, victims, suspects. Operate, it seems like this is geared towards law enforcement. Operates communication equipment, testify in court. And then traffic violation, you're gonna have them issuing citations for traffic violations that are in jail time.
No, no citations.
I don't know if we want to actually take a little more time and look at this. Do you want them to hand deliver sewer non-payment notices to delinquent residents?
They used to in the past, from my understanding.
So for number 5, can we just take out and traffic violations, because
Yeah.
they will be essentially issuing citations, well, the orange tags for city code and ordinance violations. So if we just take out traffic violations, would that be all right?
Traffic violations, and I do believe there is a course that they, or a way that they become certified to issue citations, but that's something down the road, maybe.
And then in case of criminal nature, like the Coos County Sheriff's Department.
Call. Right, need to add that in there.
Contact.
Sure.
And then we'd like to change the wording in number 3 that says they're gonna question complainants, witnesses, victims, and suspects.
Are we removing that? We wouldn't want to remove that. People are victims of code violations, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Complainants as well.
Suspects, anyone that gives suspect. And then also on, page 3, we have give public certification to a variety of groups, service plus in school.
We're gonna remove the school language.
It's in 2 places.
Okay.
Okay.
One's on page 3 and one is on page 2. And then under other requirements, must be physically capable of moving about incident, crime, accident scenes. Is that something that they're gonna be doing?
I mean-
Go on property that they need to like leave through things. I would assume.
I would think if it's anything criminal, but it's up there. If it's some sort of accident, first responders, you know. So those 2 things might be eliminated. And then we might choose a different word, incident, moving about. You know,
Because I thought, see, that's why I thought we're gonna have a workshop on this to discuss. So we're not spending this time here because we're not gonna be able to prove this tonight because of all the changes. But
We did have it for the work session.
we didn't get to it because our work session went on. So this was not addressed.
I would like to just, we're already this deep into it, just finish up the changes and
Yeah.
post it. I mean, well, I would like to have the proof before it's sent out, and maybe I can just look it over one more time and make sure, or
We're removing animals, public school programs, and the traffic violations to contact Coos County. We're adding the volunteer and no supervision and the crime portion.
Well, and then it goes, then the next part, it says required exposure to prolonged heat, cold, snow, ice, rain, dark fumes, or airborne particles, toxins, or caustic chemicals, vibration, and motorized traffic conditions. Are we really gonna ask the code enforcement all that? I mean,
so if at the beginning of this, it says, no, it is not the intent of this description to list every task involved in this position. Those listed are intended only as illustrations of the various types of duties that may be performed. I think that's just kind of covering all the bases. I don't think that's gonna be something that we're gonna have to deal with all the time.
may be exposed to communicable diseases throughout related investigation. I just think that this here is way more than we want. And then it has 10 hours per week under other requirements. So it's listed how many hours per week right there under other requirements.
The hours need to match the hours on the other one probably, right? 10 to
Yeah.
20.
Is that just for other requirements, or is that just the whole job?
I don't know. That's my question. You have 10 hours here.
I didn't understand the question.
So under other requirements,
Yeah.
it says 10 to 20. So do we want to change it to what it says 10 to 20, like the other one?
Correct. I'll put that at the top. But I think what it was indicating in this particular passage was for the other requirements, 10 hours a week.
Okay.
And then, I'm sorry, I just have one more. Back on page 2, other than, tasks. Second line, it says that they're gonna maintain keeping it properly fueled, oiled, notify superior officer of mechanical defects. So, that was, you're also the part you're changing there. Notify superior officer.
You probably, I like the part of notifying your superior officer of mechanical defects. I took out the may assist with public and school programs.
Should that be the city recorder manager, because they have it listed as location reports to city manager.
Yeah, so they tell the city manager if there's a problem with the car. We could probably take out the keeping it properly oiled part. I mean, if we're getting down to the nitty gritty, they should probably keep it fueled with the oiled part.
Just. Might not fit right into this discussion, but I don't think that vehicle's been used much. And have we even kept up with its maintenance? Do we know what its situation is?
I will send it in for a checkup because I have that same concern.
Councilor Ward.
At the very last part of the job description where it says in addition. I don't know how important it is, but number 1 and number 3, the word employee appears. Now it's clear it's a voluntary position, but I don't know if it's important to change that or not.
I think it's prudent.
Can we put between the employer and volunteer employee, possibly? Would that just kind of clarify it a little bit?
Yes.
Okay. All right. There any other changes suggested to that job description?
Do we want to move 100 pounds unassisted? I'm just asking, under other requirements, move 100 pounds unassisted. That's almost like a body or something.
The first grader.
A first grader?
Not mine. My first grade is about 45.
Yeah.
Cut it down to 50.
50.
All right.
Just for comparison, office jobs, they say 40 to 50 pounds for moving boxes. So,
But this is, I'm just concerned, these are volunteers and you don't want them to get injured.
yes,
And even though they're covered on workman's comp, I mean, if they're having to move 100 pounds, I would hope they'd have somebody help.
50 pounds, work smarter, not harder.
All right. Any other concern, questions?
Yeah, all right. Yeah, you have a job description of either a security officer or a police officer. And in order to have those for volunteer positions, they need BPSST certification, period.
Yeah, that was one of,
You need to get rid of all of the security interviews, all of that stuff. Because you are not going to have a certified officer doing a volunteer job for code enforcement.
you are going to get yourself in trouble.
The insurance carrier won't stand for it.
City manager should know that.
So if we're, excuse me, if we're good with this and you would like me to send it over to make sure it's all checked,
With CIS and,
now that you've whittled it down, yep.
yes, please, and then bring it back for review and with what CIS and the attorney and what they say. And, yeah, as for the trainings required for this stuff, should we put those trainings that are required in the job description?
Yes.
Okay. All right,
Or training provided?
Yep.
Training provided?
yeah. All right,
And everybody knows that we do have a resolution for volunteers that for covering the workman's comp, where they have put a value of like $800 a monthly wages for the fiscal for unemployment, for workman's comp. There's for all, and then there's a waiver and stuff they're supposed to sign that we've always used in the past. So I just wonder if we should, I mean, everybody's aware of this. The resolution. What the city has always used in the past to protect ourselves.
But the waivers don't do anything. They don't get you out of liability if something happens.
But it helps with our insurance.
but we can have requirements for doing a position like this.
And just also Reedsport, they have 2 of these volunteers, and then they also have 2 of the, excuse me, the clerical persons to assist with that. So they have the model also that we can ask our neighbors.
They're retired law enforcement, though, aren't they? The ones that are filling those positions, I believe.
I don't know what their background is. Just when I spoke to the city manager, that's what she expressed to me.
When you talk with CIS and the attorney, can you please be specific in asking questions about the conflicts that were just brought up?
Yeah.
I mean, just really specific about those
Yep.
issues.
Yep.
With all
Yep.
stuff. That is what I want.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, so we will table that item to the next regular meeting.
Like to make a motion to table the discussion of job descriptions for a code enforcement officer and code enforcement administrative assistant until our next regular session.
Second.
Councilor Ward made a motion stating we'd like to table the code enforcement officer and code enforcement administrative assistant job description to the next meeting, and it was seconded by Councilor Miller. Do I have discussion?
And it's after the corrections are made. And are you gonna look them over and then send them to CIS?
Yeah, we'll do corrections first, then CIS, then bring it back. And then, yeah, legal counsel, all that stuff. Any other discussion? All right, let's take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That's a unanimous aye vote. The motion carries. That would be tabled to the next meeting. All right, let's move on to new business. Item 11, building code inspector Dave Mortier, discussion for the new code requirements. And he is attending by Zoom.
He's the where to go there, yes.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi Dave, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Well, thank you for being here tonight via Zoom. Can you elaborate on the code requirements?
Well, a couple of years ago, the Building Codes Division of the state of Oregon uh, modified the way the building code is and took out items that weren't necessarily buildings as being regulated by the buildings, yet allowed jurisdictions to regulate them through ordinance. So what happened was that things like fences over 7 feet tall, retaining walls greater than 4 feet tall, radio, television, cell towers, tanks, and in-ground swimming pools and signs weren't regulated by the building code anymore. And this ordinance is to address those items and give the city more authority to regulate those items. Also, they took out demolition of buildings and abatement of buildings. This ordinance has additional wording in there to give the city more power to control those items too.
Right, Dave, you're referencing an ordinance. Was there supposed to be an ordinance that we were going to be discussing with you tonight?
Yeah, I sent over a draft ordinance. I don't know if you guys have that or not.
Unfortunately not, and our city manager just stepped out for a second, so
Okay,
I will ask her about that.
okay.
So you're Krista, he's talking about an ordinance and none of us have it.
I believe he was going to just give you what's coming, and then next month we would present it. And I also, that was one of the things that we, Counselor Ward and I were working on, and he has that as well. And that's going to tie into also the updating of the fees.
Okay.
And so he did, it's not in the format that we're used to. I did call Caitlin, and she's going to send it in a ready-to-go format
So that'll be on the
next month.
meeting.
Yep.
All right. Does anyone have any questions for Dave? Go ahead. You guys go.
I just kind of know the answer, but I want to put it out there anyway because it might help. So, Dave, it's my understanding that construction type projects fall into 3 regulatory buckets. There's things that under the building code require a permit inspection. There's things that are exempt from permitting. And then there's a 3rd bucket where permitting is optional, and if the city wants to require permitting, they do that by ordinance. Have I got that right?
Yes, that is correct.
It's hard for me to ask any questions without knowing what's coming, so.
Are there any particular points that might help us understand or anyone to share?
But when it comes before you as a text, we could put together a synopsis that says, here's the items that are being suggested for permitting and regulation. You know,
Yeah.
Dave gave an example of the one he said, fences under 7 feet tall. And, or is it over 7 feet tall, Dave?
It's fences over 7 feet tall.
Right, so fences under 7 feet tall, you can't require a permit for those, right?
Right, those are exempt from permits, yes.
And that's an example of one we probably wouldn't consider because Lakeside doesn't allow fences over 6 feet tall. So it wouldn't be relevant, but some of the others might be. So we'd have to go through there and decide which ones do we want to regulate.
Okay.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
There's a lot. And so my hope was that if we kind of whittle it down a little bit, that it would be more helpful to bring to you.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you for working on that. Anybody have any other questions? All right, well, thank you, Dave, for attending. Thank you for your work on this.
Okay, you're welcome. You guys,
Good night.
yep, have a good night.
All right. We can move on to item number 12. It's a citizen request to be on the agenda.
Mayor, 11A.
Oh, 11A item. Yeah, the minutes and the staff report. All right, so the June 4th minutes, you said the date was wrong. Signing date.
January 20th.
And same thing for the December 30th minutes. All right. Is that those changes? Krista?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you for the work on the minutes, office staff.
Welcome.
All right, and then, need a motion to approve those minutes with the changes.
I'll make a motion to approve the amended minutes, June 4th and December 30th.
All right, Councilor Miller made a motion to approve the June 4th and December 30th minutes with changes made, and Councilor Pointer seconded. Any discussion? No? All right, I'll go to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Oh, unanimous. Can I? Oh. So all but Councilor Armstrong voted aye, and Councilor Armstrong abstained. The next item that we pulled off was the staff report for the library. I thought at the bottom of that action item, they discussed needing a new door, and then they said they would be happy to get bids for it.
We've already taken care of it.
Oh, okay. All right.
Did it need a new door or just got
It has needed a new door. It's a wood door, and so over time, staff has shaved it down, and it's well, and then the weather comes and then it shrinks, and so we're gonna put a metal door. And then have the handicap fixed. So she did report that to me, and it has gone to Public Works, and then we are already getting contractors to look at it.
Will we be approving bids for that the next meeting? And it's under the. So then we can move on. Now, item 12, citizen request to be on the agenda, action item. We have the Lakeside Fire Department requesting funds.
Cindy Smith, Lakeside Fire Association. We're getting ready for annual Easter egg hunt at Tugler. And we need your help and hoping that you will be able to support us this year. I did have an error on my request. The event is actually going to be Saturday, April the 19th. not the 20th is,
April 19th, you said?
yes,
Have to put on my calendar.
yes. I hope everybody comes out to see us. We have a lot of fun.
It's always so awesome.
So much fun.
Yeah.
The kids had a blast last year.
Good.
All right, and you're requesting $1,000, yeah? You have a motion?
I move that this council approves the request to the Lakeside Volunteer Fire Department for support during the Easter event.
All right, Counselor Hand has made a motion to approve the spending of $1,000 for the Lakeside Fire Department for the Easter event. Counselor Quitter seconded that motion. Is there any discussion?
Maybe you could just tell us what the funds will be used for.
We last year. And we'll be doing that Saturday before Easter, so if anybody would like to come help us, we'll be at the fire hall and we try to provide pizza. And so we always have, we have 3 categories for agent, and there'll be golden and silver eggs. So there's 6 children that will get special baskets. And we've had some donations, and we've gathered some neat little gifts and trinkets, and we have a barbecue. So we always have hot dogs and chips, and Linda makes us lots of cookies. So yeah, it's just a big group effort.
It's a great event. Thank you.
In general, that event kind of brings people in from all over the counties, right?
It
I
does,
mean, it's a lot of people.
yeah. South, they come. It's a big event. Don't get in front of those kids. It's ready to go.
No kidding, though.
Yeah.
Especially the older ones.
Yeah. I think it's the best Easter egg from around.
Oh, it for sure
I might be a little biased, yeah.
The last couple of years, we've been doing the giant bubbles, weather permits, so that's a lot of fun. Good time out there. Easter Bunny rides in on the fire truck, and we have a real good.
Thank you.
Question, do you have a dump tank?
We do not.
Oh.
That would be pretty cool.
Because, yeah, I'm thinking it's a good time to put a counselor up for a dump tank.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'll be with my child, so I'm out.
Take the suggestions back to chief and everybody. If you know where we could borrow one, that would be wonderful.
There was one in Coos Bay they did at the Umpqua Bank or North Bend maybe. And I believe the city has one, so they may be able to loan us.
Yeah.
One of you guys would be volunteering.
I would volunteer as tribute. Yeah.
We looked into it before and there is one available in the area. It's only $100 a day or something.
Well, it'd be great. Let me take it back to the committee, and that would be a lot of fun. I'll definitely be there.
Awesome. All right, any further discussion?
Question for the city manager, is there a budget line item with appropriate funding available?
That's a good question. And when I talked to Cindy, what I said was, could you please come back in a month and make sure that we have a line item, since this is something we do every year, and also for the Halloween. Currently,
Pretty sure after the what LVO asked for on events, it was level up.
I don't have the budget to actual with me, but I do believe that 5,046 under miscellaneous, there is $1,000 there, and I don't believe that has been used.
Do you want me to come back for us being added as a line item throughout the year.
That would be great, and then that way you don't have to come back, we could just, you could say, knock, knock, it's time to, it's that time of year again, and things will go much faster.
Thank you so much.
All right, any further discussion? All right, let's take it to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously. We give $1,000 to the volunteer fire department for the Easter event. All right, 12B, the special event application for the fireworks. Or are we doing I see the resolution in here for, that's the LBO, so this is not nothing to do with the special event application.
So my question is, you budgeted for this, it has a line item, but it's already been approved. But for good housekeeping, it's over my allotment. But you've already approved it.
So so currently we are talking about the money for the LBO.
No.
This is fireworks.
This is fireworks.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. I don't remember having to approve this last year.
The event application.
Yeah. Maybe it just didn't stand out in my head. All right, do I have a motion?
Excuse me, one more thing. What they did say is that if you are going to keep the same amount as last year, they might have to scale down the fireworks due to inflation. So if you want the same amount, he didn't say what that was or what you get above what you had last year, like $5,000 more gets you the same thing. So he may have to scale it down for the same amount, but I do believe the same amount is what was budgeted.
And I think it's like 20,000 we budget for fireworks.
We've been adding to it for years. Couple times.
Yeah, 40,000.
40 million.
So I think you spent 30, 35 last year.
And then doesn't it carry over into the next budget cycle to like our last payments due like the first of our budget cycle? Doesn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
because I paid some in July, yes.
So is this two different discussions? We're approving the event, but are we also going to discuss adding more money? Are they requesting more money? Or
They were just saying if at the same rate, the 30,000 or 35, you would get maybe less. So being that you budgeted more already, I think that's appropriate to whatever, that's all that's budgeted. Otherwise, you'd have to figure out where else that's gonna come from.
Yeah.
You are approving the event with the 40,000 that you've already budgeted, but for housekeeping, I wanted to bring that to you.
And just that, I seem to remember back during the budget season last year that we increased that to 40,000 with the understanding that there were other small expenses other than the hiring of the crew that come out there that are starting to stack up. Like up until now, we've had a volunteer crew that mans the barge and does these things, and we can't always rely on a volunteer crew to do that. That's why there was a little bit more added to cover in case we had to pay for more. So, you know what I mean? It's kind of scary to me to add more, you know what I mean? If we keep it where we were last year, cost wise.
And I believe the tar paper was not included.
And it wasn't the right thing. We gotta make sure this year. it's the right product.
yeah, it was like the day of, they were scrambling for the correct paper.
Okay.
Yeah, that was, part of that was communication. It's not tar paper. They want rolled roofing,
Rolled roofing.
like rolled asphalt shingle, you know what I mean? Because tar paper burns, the
Oh,
asphalt shingle.
Put it back.
Yeah.
Individually. Took forever.
All right. Any other? There's your motion. You approve the event application?
That's one of the event applications I've been involved with. We have been approved by the city manager for the event part of it.
the Halloween trunk or treat, I don't believe came before council.
Yeah, I wasn't involved with that one, but the ones I've been involved with.
This council recently revised city codes on special events and codified that it's the city manager who considers the event application.
It's the money for me. I just want to make sure we're in the decision on what fireworks.
Is this talk about Bill and? Yeah, I didn't see anything.
About what?
The cost,
The cost.
it's not in this event application.
Yeah,
I don't know.
just talking about time, place.
In the emails, he's asking, do you want to keep the same event that you had last year?
Run to the same budget.
Same budget, yeah.
Yeah, I personally don't feel like we need to spend more money on it right now. I don't know.
It's hard to like picture how much less it'll be. I don't want it to be a disappointment, but it wasn't last year. I mean, but if it's gonna be slimmed down by like a third.
Would you like to set an amount and that's just what we can spend regardless of the time?
Well, if we only have 40,000 budgeted, then
And we did 35,000 last year.
Yeah,
Then I knew that we keep the budget same 35,000,
not to go over 40?
not to go over the 35. Well, for the added expenses you're talking about, but the fireworks be 35.
I'll second it.
the motion has been made to keep the $35,000 firework budget by Counselor Armstrong and seconded by Counselor Hand. Any further discussion? All right, take it to a vote. All those in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Moving on to item 13, request salary range for AP clerk. I did see the job description in here, but I don't see any discussion of the salary range.
So this is the job description that we had previously from 2012. And it didn't have a salary range on it. Currently, the position was filled at $19.22 an hour.
This was our old job description.
It's an old one from 2012. It is a version of the billing clerk, but this provides this person to do all of the accounting. The way that it was working before, and when we had the work session, I was trying to explain some of the accounting was happening in the city clerk's office. Some was happening in billing. This person will do all of the accounting. They won't be doing the processing of permits. They will just take money and give money back. So I just dusted off the one we had before whoever did whatever. But essentially the billing was filled at 1922.
And is that what you're requesting again?
Minimum, what I what I'm looking for is experience, somebody who has fund accounting experience, QuickBooks experience. So a minimum, depending on experience, if you can give me a range, that would be the minimum.
Here would be, I guess, the time to discuss, what was the price of the CPA continuing everything? That's what you were going to bring back with us. Because this job description is very detailed and it's almost like an administrative assistant on the duties and responsibilities. And the position currently vacant, 70% sewer, 30% general, the funds come out of the budget. These job descriptions here, it's more than 30%. If they do 10% of this. So we need to know what this, if the CPA was to do everything that our previous CPA was doing, you were going to bring those prices to us. You were going to tell us how much they're going to charge. We have no idea how we even hired a current CPA for what they're doing.
The reason I didn't bring that back to you is because events happened between the work session and now to the plan that I was putting before you was to keep that person in that position, and that is not the case. So, a little reorganization, and this is the recommendation of the CPA. She has not presented a proposal because of her schedule, trying to fit us in and helping us. Right now, what she is saying is that to get us off of the ground, it is going to take a minute for her to figure out what has been being done versus what needs to be done. For right now, it will still be the same rate as the prior CPA, but the long-term plan is to put it back in-house so that there's control and metrics, and that will save us $1,000 a month with her providing oversight. So she will still make sure that the payroll is done. She'll do payroll. She'll do the taxes and making sure that there's journal entries, that the checks that are entered are appropriate, that she'll have oversight with the invoices, and we will print the checks and do all things. She'll just have oversight.
May I interject? Some of the things in this job description to me it's like in payroll and finance, process payroll and all related reports, and process W-2s and 1099s. So that's what you're having the new billing clerk / accounting person. But then we're having an accountant doing payroll, and you're having this person do the W-2s and 1099s, not our accountant.
If it comes to the point that this person can process a W-2 or something like that, you don't want to limit it so much and then go, oh, surprise, you have all of these duties. It's a description. It doesn't mean we're going to do all of the things. They will get timesheets. They'll be processing timesheets. When you get check stubs, those go in the envelopes. There is an amount of processing payroll or assisting the accountant. But it is all going to be one person working with the accountant. If that means pulling audit papers, if that means all of the finance.
Okay. Preparing council packets.
If that's, you need a finance report, they're going to help do a report.
Okay.
For the packet.
Okay.
It just seems it's a schedule appointment for city recorder manager. A lot of some of these job duties in here you put, seems like some of them were ones that your job description has. And then when you schedule appointments for the city recorder manager, I'm not seeing a billing clerk as much, and I'm concerned about how we can justify taking 70% of their salary out of the sewer plant when most of their jobs that are listed here is for an administrative assistant or doing accounting work. And then it lists all their duties, essential duties and responsibilities. And then on the second page where they're the fourth from the bottom, it says have full knowledge of utility. It just makes me think that we've restructured and the council hasn't had input on this. I think that we need to get job descriptions for both positions to see what the job duties are, because it comes down to, I can't justify this job description 70% taking out of sewer and 30 out of our general fund.
How much time do you think is at the counter processing people paying bills and people calling about bills and paying online? They are processing all of the payment.
Do you feel that that person's position, it would be 70% devoted to wastewater stuff?
Absolutely,
I guess that's the question.
absolutely. Yeah, but they're just, I don't know how else to explain it. When TLT dollars would come in, they would come in the mail. The TLT dollars would go over to the clerk. So you don't have one person tracking TLT dollars, who's paying, who's sending out the hanger bills, who's all of the other billing things is what's split between two people. If all of the finance is handled by one person, they're tracking all of the things, there's more continuity in your finance.
I don't disagree. That sounds like a good idea. My concern is simply that our budget dictates that currently 70%.
Yeah.
Waste. And as long, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can tell us that.
Actually, it's 103%, but yeah.
But then you said that was your.
No, it's, you budgeted 103. So we all have to do different jobs. We do whatever is needed. And sometimes that might mean a little flexibility in helping do a binder or helping do a packet. It might mean it's just not in all, this is the only thing that you're going to be doing. We all do what we have to do to help each other.
So, yeah, okay, the 19, 20, it seems like more of a clerk position to me than, you know, and if we're gonna get someone with accounting skills and stuff. I mean, so you're requesting a salary range for this position,
Correct.
and you're recommending what?
The minimum of 19. And the person in this position would be a probationary employee. We won't be paying PERS until the 6 months, and then that will take us into the next budget cycle. Hopefully this is a period to get us to a better budget, and we'll also be saving money of the $1,000 a month, not using this, relying so heavily on the CPA. And I don't think that she's really interested in doing all of that, but she said for continuity, if for some reason somebody does leave that position, because it will be online QuickBooks, she could easily take it over if needed.
So currently, what is our the current old CPA was getting?
$18.95.
$18.95 a month.
Correct.
And you're saying by filling this position, we're gonna save $1,000.
Correct.
And so she's only gonna cost, the CPA is only gonna cost us $8.95.
$8.95 to $9.50. She's going to track her time and be a little more precise as she goes. She's just getting re-familiar with what we have. And she said if there is going to be more time spent on it, then she would let us know. But that's where that will even account for filing like child support and the PERS and the taxes and all those things. So sometimes there might be more time spent on some things, but then other times not so much. So it is going to be a constant every month, even though she's going to spend more time some every quarter.
May I make a request, just for clarity going into budget season, if everyone agrees? The job descriptions, can we have them in the budget packet, so we kind of know, because at this point, we've got like, in the past year, 6 new positions, and everyone's moving, like, can we just all get on the same page for the job descriptions and the salary ranges?
Yep, that was the plan.
Okay.
So you're asking us to approve the salary range.
Yeah.
And you recommended a minimum, but you haven't recommended the upper end.
I wouldn't say anything over 24. If we were to hire a temp agency, we would be paying that.
If you take the possible $1,000 savings that we would get from a CPA and divide that into hourly on a 160-hour month, it's about $6.
Currently, what does our budget support? What was the current staff making an hour?
1922.
That's what the current one, not. You said 19 was what this one was before, but the current utility billing clerk, what was her salary?
1922.
1922. So you're recommending $19 to $24. And you can justify the 70% still coming out of the sewer and 30% coming out of the general.
Correct.
Okay, I make a motion to approve a salary of $21 for the AP payroll clerical receptionist job. Oh. All right.
I'd like to make a motion to approve a salary range for an EP clerk ranging from $19 to $24 an hour.
I'll second that.
All right, thank you, Counselor Ward, made a motion to approve the salary range of $19 to $24 for the AP payroll clerical receptionist position. And Counselor Hand seconded that motion. Is there any discussion?
You mentioned the probationary period and how by the time the probationary period was over, we would be rolling into the next budget. So is it pretty safe to assume that the person we hire on would come in at that low end of that range and more or less stay at it until the end of the probationary period and new budget? So we wouldn't really be paying more until next budget season?
I think that's the idea. However, the people that have applied do have some really good experience. And I have Counselor Miller coming in also to sit in on those interviews. So we have 4 applicants with some pretty good experience. So I think that.
So if we hired on a new person at 24, we're still not running into budgets?
No,
Okay.
no.
Would like to see what the job partners done before we basically approve a new job description with the salary. I think that we should have both office staff positions so we can see their level and see what it's going to divide up.
We're not making a decision right now on a job description.
You know, but to approve a salary based on this job description.
I don't think we are. I think we're approving a salary based on the current job description.
No, the current job description does not have any.
Yeah, I don't love this job description. I mean, we discussed a few different places where we all, a few of us feel like it's leans a little away from billing.
This is basically a new job description for this office this year, this time. You found this old job description from 2012, is that correct?
Currently that you have, yes.
Yeah. And the current position as of last month did not include any payroll or preparing payroll or finance.
Correct.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's my understanding that city manager has the authority to create job descriptions. And so it's really not our role to manage the content of job descriptions and the way we've been discussing tonight.
Unfortunately, the old resolution was not signed, and we don't have a current resolution. Is that correct? Resolution 2411. You do not have that resolution. I asked for it. Came in and asked for it. We have not made the corrections from November. Whatever true. If you could show me a resolution where this council gave you the authority that Councilor Ward said you have the authority to make job descriptions except salary. And I'm wrong, but you do not have the resolution signed.
The authority was approved in that council meeting
With the corrections to the resolution.
that you were, yes, and then you came and asked about some other things that I hadn't dove into yet, but the authority was in that meeting to manage job descriptions.
We understand, correct me if I'm wrong, I thought the resolution was signed, so it didn't go into effect. That's not.
I would have to go look at what you're asking.
Well, with that being said, if the resolution wasn't signed, then
We would be approving this new job.
It isn't a new description, it's one you currently have. I didn't create a new description.
well, from 2012, I wouldn't say that's current.
I don't know how long it was used. I just, that was the date that it was approved. I don't know how long it was used.
Because we, as far as I know, we've never done in-house payroll other than 2010, but we definitely not did.
But we were doing payroll.
And the bills and everything.
Yes. The motion on the table was from Counselor Ward to approve an AP clerk for $19 to $24 an hour.
No more discussion or any motion. All right, I'll take it to a vote. All those in favor say aye. All opposed say nay. Nay. All right, we had Counselor Poyer, nay. Counselor Ward, aye. Counselor Armstrong, nay. Mayor Wood, nay. Counselor Hand, aye. Counselor Arden, aye. And Counselor Miller, aye. So motion carries 4-3. All right. And we'll move on to item 14, approved to boards and or commissions, and we're going to start with 14A, which is budget committee. Everyone has a copy of the applicants. We have some rigorous interview questions. If you would like, if I know, if I can come up and be first and answer a couple of questions. All right. Thank you for applying. So the budget committee members are expected to do their homework prior to meetings, take assignments to review, and meet with department heads in their assigned area of responsibility. How do you feel about this expectation? And do you have a background in performing this type of role?
Well, I was an accounting clerk for 12 years. I was a bank teller for 10 years. As long as I can get a packet a week before and read it, then yeah.
What is the most important financial issue facing the city? This is a two-part question. And why is it important? Is the first part.
We're broke. I
Okay.
think that the city manager is getting way too much money.
Mhm.
She started out at the highest that we would give her, and it should have not been that. And she was on probation, What happened to that? What are you gonna do when she wants a raise next year? We're broke.
The second part of the question is, what other financial issues face our city and why are they important?
We're broke. That's it. We're broke.
All right, question 3.
Sandy, what would you like, I'm sorry, why would you like to serve on the budget committee and what is its role? How is the role of the budget committee determined?
The role of the budget committee is to know numbers and to know how to get yourself out of debt. You know, Elaine was saying to Krista, we're broke, but Krista can't prove that she's saying, Krista is saying, no, we're not broke, we've got enough money, but she can't prove it. How do you prove it, Krista?
Again, the first part of the question is why would you like to serve on the budget committee?
Because I want to see our city come back around and survive. I'm a true Lakeside-tonian. You know, I was born and raised here. My family still has the house since 1952 on Stanley Lane.
All right. Last question.
How do you currently speak of the city to the community? Would you change anything about your representation of the coin that you put?
Question. At one time I was proud to be from Lakeside, but right now I'm not. I would love to be able to say that I'm from Lakeside again and that I'm proud to be Lakeside-tonian. I think we need to get rid of the city manager and get a city recorder.
All right. Well, thank you. All right. I have, Tiffany Dickinson. Would you like to come up and answer?
And finding out not able to stand no longer well, speak loudly. No problem with the question.
Perfect.
If we can get her the microphone.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Okay. All right, first question, budget committee members are expected to do their homework prior to meetings, take assignments, review specific areas or departments, and meet with department heads in their assigned area of responsibility. How do you feel about this expectation, and do you have a background in performing this type of role?
It's very reasonable. It's what I would expect. I am retired, so I do have the time. My background, I have a bachelor's degree in accounting and business administration. And past 10 years, I did taxes during the tax season, and 18 years before that, was a revenue agent with the IRS. And finance, Central Oregon Regional Housing, I was the finance director for that. And before that, I was the sales tax auditor before you. So I have a very extensive background, budgeting, and all matters concerning that.
Perfect, thank you.
What is the most important financial issue facing the city and why is it important? And what other financial issues face our city and why are they?
October 2023. Since then, listening to the council, looking at the budget, I agree with Sandy. The city is on the verge of very extreme financial trouble. Major problem is ARC found, not the sewer, but the ARC for the general fund has been not taken into account. The obligated items have not been identified. And by Krista's own figures, as of December 31st, we were $54,000 short. So, you know, and her projected figures for the end of the budget is $500,000 short. So the city says it has budgeted line items, yeah, but there's not enough money to carry us to the end of the year. And then we need to be myself, those funds have to be accounted for. And they have to be taken into consideration. So when statements are made, oh, there's money in the budget, yeah, on paper. And, you know, it's just blows me away. No one's getting that. Right? Would you agree?
Why would you like to serve on the budget committee and what is its role? How is the role of the budget committee determined?
This is now my home. I love this little city. It's not like anything I've ever experienced before. And I would hate to see it sunk out of sheer ignorance. And the role of being on the budget committee is to look at the figures, look at what's wanted, look at what can be afforded. And act from there and make recommendations to the council. And I've been looking over the budgets for the past 4 or 5 years to look for trends because that's what I've been trained to do. And the council needs to see these trends so they can make informed decisions. You know, that's, I think, job and the recommendation should be for someone on the budget committee.
Thank you.
How do you currently speak of the city to the community? And would you change anything about your representation?
It's not my job to speak to the city. My job is to speak to the council, being on the budget committee. All right, great.
Same separately because they're two different things here.
No.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right.
Buckets for budget.
Yeah, Colleen has.
Oh,
All right. Ms. Higgins, would you like to come up and speak?
We have a microphone.
It doesn't have, the batteries aren't working.
Question, budget committee members are expected to do their homework prior to meetings, take assignments to review specific areas of or departments, and meet with department heads in their assigned area of responsibility. How do you feel about this expectation? And do you have a background in performing this type of?
Well, I definitely believe that's necessary for any of the positions. But doing homework, seeing what you're talking about, and I absolutely doing that.
What is the most important financial issue facing the city? And why is it important? And what other financial issues face our city and why are they important?
Well, obviously, we need to bring our revenue levels up. And figure out how we're going to.
Thank you.
Why would you like to serve on the budget committee and what is its role? How is the role of the budget committee determined?
I don't think I'm not doing the budget committee.
Oh, you check the vote.
Yeah. Excuse me, all right.
Are you sure we don't? Have consent, okay.
We also have you for planning.
Huh?
We also have you for planning.
Yeah, I know that one.
Yeah.
You check both boxes.
Both, because I am also very concerned about our plan. And in the past, we've had some, I think, are brought up current. But definitely finding new sources of revenue is very important, maintaining that avenue. That there are a few concerns, making sure the budget is all right. I love the city, and I want it to prosper.
How do you currently speak of the city and the community? What would you, and would you touch representation?
Actually, I speak highly about it. I love our city and I'm feeling very positive about things as far as our representation. More so than I have in the past. You know, I really think that, we have more of an eyes wide open going on right now. I think we're gonna do well.
You just want to stay up here for your planning commission if you need to, and then we'll just we'll vote on it separately, okay. All right, tell us briefly about yourself, qualities, experience, expertise, and what aspects best describe your qualifications to serve on the city's planning commission.
Well, spent 10 years on the council in your position. And that was an eye-opening experience, and we had many times worked with the planning commission, and many things occurred that brought to my attention that there are some areas in planning that I see. One like subdivisions was one of them. We have some things that aren't complete that need to be so that we don't have our city growing in the wrong direction. You know, we are a resort community. I mean, that's really what we're developing ourselves into, and it's very exciting to be that. And I'd like to see us grow in a healthy way.
Does anyone else want to ask a question?
Oh.
Okay.
Explain your knowledge of the planning commission's roles and responsibilities and their contribution to the city's long-term development goals. Further, explain how the commission contributes to a better quality of life for city residents, businesses, and patrons.
Well, we want to, planning commission has to basically direct the way our city grows, the way that we handle things like our business district, zoning, all of these different things that allow us to grow properly so we don't end up with the wrong components in the wrong areas. We also want a city that flows smoothly and that can support the goals that we want. You know, like I said, we're a resort community. We have access to things most cities don't have, and it's a very exciting thing to have. And we want to really be able to utilize that. We don't want to grow so big. We don't want to ruin our city like has happened in the city. It's been overdeveloped, but we do want to be developed to a healthy degree, and so we can utilize other amenities. And because if we do the wrong thing in the wrong place, we have some very unhappy for the community. Want everybody to be happy and healthy.
You feel like you have a good understanding of the planning commission's roles, though? That was the first part of the question, is like their role in that process.
Yeah, I do. Having worked with them for 10 years, I have a lot of familiarity. I'm pretty familiar with it.
That kind of answers the next question. What is your understanding of the relationship of the planning commission to the staff and city council? So, yeah. A staff report is provided to the planning commission in advance of the planning commission meeting. If you have major concerns about the report, what would you do?
Talk to the office.
How do you represent the city outside of City Hall?
Very politically correct. You know, like I said, I want to see positive, happy. I hate negative. It's not necessary. I like to be positive about things because I think that promotes growth and promotes a healthy being mentally.
All right, do you have any questions for us?
I don't. I know the position you're in, so yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's start with the budget committee.
For everybody knows that. Maybe if this is. But there will, I don't want to see that.
Okay.
On the training, right?
Correct.
But, are these positions? For, you have 4 years, our budget committee.
There are 3 years.
They're 3 years.
And I spoke with Linda and she remembers everybody signing up last year because there was an issue with keeping track of term. And I did find one for Gloria, application for 23. And the idea is that 1/3 of them should stagger every year. And I believe you can have more than the 7, is that correct? No, you can't have more than the 7.
How many positions do we currently need to fill?
2. I have contacted a couple of the people here to verify, not all of them, that they're still interested.
Because if I'm looking on your sheet, you supplied, you have Dave Smith 24 to 27, that's 4 years. 4 to 5. So, but. 20 and 24, so they're at 24.
They would be, they wouldn't be working on the 2027.
So it should be 26.
We can do 2028 budget, and do 2027. because that's 2028.
So as long as it's 3 years, right?
It's 3 years.
All right, do I have a motion? Can you approve anyone? Or appoint anyone?
I'll make a motion that we approve Colleen Higgins to the planning commission. I believe that, he does understand the role and.
All right, a motion to appoint Charlene Higgins to the planning commission was made by Counselor Hand and seconded by Counselor Pointer. Is there any discussion?
Did we get a recommendation from the planning commission regarding?
Yes, you did. They approved.
All right, any further discussion? All right, let's take it to a vote. All those in favor of appointing Charlene Higgins to the planning commission, please say aye. All opposed? All right, motion passes unanimously. Congratulations, Colleen. Well, it worked out for you.
Quick, again, where's that put us getting towards a full planning?
We need,
No, I think we're full.
no,
Okay.
7. And 7.
Okay, they keep changing.
You still need 2 more.
Okay.
People want to get involved, it's a great way. All right, so I have a motion for the budget committee appointments. Motion to approve Peggy, budget committee, right?
Second.
I have a motion made by Counselor Harden to approve Peggy Dickinson to the budget committee and seconded by Counselor Miller. Any discussion?
Hard to argue with her experience. I mean, in our little town, I think we beg for experience. Come help.
Agreed. All right, I'll take it to a vote. All those in favor of appointing Peggy Dickinson to the budget committee, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Counselor Armstrong abstains and Counselor Pointer, Counselor Ward, Mayor Wood, Counselor Hand, Counselor Harden, and Counselor Miller all say aye. All right, congratulations. All right,
With that approval, where do we stand on budget?
We need 1 more.
And is there a deadline? I mean, I know we won't do it immediately and we're starting budget process pretty quick, so you want to go ahead and fill these spots.
all right, do I have a motion?
Okay, I'll put a motion. I move that we accept Sandy Linda on the budget meeting.
For a second. Second. Yes. So,
Elaine, do you really want to do both?
And then that'd be.
When I look at the budget online from the last budget that Rick Holmbaum did, there's some people on here that they went, like Randy Thomas, his term was 2022 to 2025. Is he still on
The planning commission, yes.
it? No, not the planning budget. He was on the budget last year.
So, I spoke with Linda. She's the one that gave me the list of folks. Normally it would be in your budget packet.
I mean, last year's.
But that's not what I had. So when I spoke with Linda, the folks that she gave me was Gloria, Peggy, Adam, Mark, Linda, Sean, David, and Cassie.
I was just going off what Rick had put in the budget.
so maybe we get in touch with,
That is not in, if you look in your budget book, that is not in the budget. I don't know.
Maybe we reach out to Randy, see if he's,
Can I say something?
one moment. please. Flip it over.
And he was.
here.
Was Randy on the committee?
I don't think so.
Yeah, but Cassie was there, but I don't think she was on that list, is she?
No, she, was in the audience.
Yeah. And I don't know that he could be on the,
Cassie filled this vacant spot. The
Okay.
one listed on here is vacant, right before we started. So after this,
Right across from-
yeah, I think, pretty sure she filled that vacant spot.
And David Smith was there.
Mm-hmm. And I think Randy was there, and Mark.
I can't remember. That was a year.
Valerie has moved, she's no longer here, so that's a spot that definitely.
Kathy, David, Sean, Linda, Mark, Adam, Peggy, and Gloria. And
No, we just. He's been replaced with Peggy now, I think, so we would still just have one vacancy, which could possibly be Randy. We just don't know.
okay, we can,
Okay.
Yeah, we need to make sure we're not.
Over.
Oh my God. Phone number.
All right.
On my phone.
We'll check it on the minute.
Let's check.
All right, and then. Where we at now?
I just wanted to take the time to thank everybody for accepting my application. You know, you could just say, Sandy, you're not qualified. Instead of just sitting there and saying, oh. People do have feelings. But I'll tell you something, I have a hell of a lot more feelings than a lot of you sitting up there.
I don't think it was anything personal.
It doesn't have to be. But you know what? I had banking. I worked for HR Block. I didn't know we were going to be. I didn't even know it was on the agenda.
Yeah, thank you for coming up and answering the questions, and
Man,
I appreciate your replying.
no skin off my nails.
All right, we're gonna move on to the number 15 on the agenda, the Transportation Growth Management Program. Action item.
Mayor, the planning commission has approved to enter into the program pending council approval. The idea is to, it is a long program to get started, and being that one of the items that you guys noted as a long-term goal is the comprehensive plan. It is a grant free to update and audit the code. The first section would be to audit the code. And so, they would like your, approval for that. And we've spoke about the program before.
Yeah, I think it sounds like a good idea. You did say though, the comprehensive plan thing, and it was saying like recent projects. It all sounds like it's focused around transportation more than an actual like.
So if you go to, they do different things. The first step would be to audit your code because that's the need first. If you had a full board, planning staff and all these things are updated, you could go do some other things, but that is your first step. And it's called the Transportation Growth Management Program. And it does take participation from the council and from the community, and you're getting it for free, so they want your buy-in with your sweat equity sort of. And then what they teach you is how to plan differently, and that's what DLCD is asking us to do, is to plan differently, to look at things differently, not to have, maybe to scale down, lot sizes, or to allow cottages, or to do some different types of planning. And I think the tools are needed in the planning commission's arsenal.
The cover letter here says it's a transportation growth agreement and it's to expand the transportation choices. This cover letter that you sent was to say to send changes by February 5th so that they know where to send the TGN pre-application to. Did you notify them that whoever's supposed to be in charge to get it? Because it says, please send the changes to in an email by February 5th. No response will retain your name as the local person product. That's the first thing that they have. But this here is, when you go onto their website and look, they do not say they're comprehensive. They are transportation and growth. And the category, which category would we be applying for? Category 1, transportation system planning, or category 2, integrated land use and transportation. And when you look at what they're doing, we have to have the pre-application in by the late March. And then, because right on that sheet you gave us, it says that they give you the timelines. May application period begins, July applications due, September awards announced. Is this something realistically, this grant that you're showing us is work for the comprehensive plan? Because everything you gave us says it's not. You say it shows, and if you look at the examples, it's for walking, biking, and it's a fantastic system if you research it. And it says that it's more for urban growth. So that if we were doing an urban growth and we had plans to do streets and sidewalks and stuff, we would qualify on this. What's the word?
An application under category 2. And this grant program does fund the development of comprehensive plans. There's a flyer in here, and they make mention of the Coquille Indian Tribe Empire Comprehensive Plan. And you've seen our comprehensive plan. I would suggest you all go download that particular plan and look at it to see how it comes together. It'd be really nice for us to have one.
And I thought that was where they had already did their comprehensive, and this was for where they were looking to already be standard and do the roads and stuff. Is the deadline still correct? We'll be able to make the deadline.
So the March deadline is for a pre-application. It's fairly simple. Fairly simple thing to fill out. It says, yes, we plan.
Better than that kind of thing.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
The actual application is a little more complicated.
May I remind you that I've already been through this program? Why I've been suggesting it, so I already have experience doing this.
So the planning commission is gonna be heading this task and taking over this, because if they or any volunteers to be any help, you said it's a lot of flat equity, so.
It's buy-in in the form of, like, that would be your sweat equity. They want participation. It will take a while to go through this process. You might do some things right now, and in 6 months, you won't hear from them. And then they'll say, okay, we need something else. And then you might go another couple of months. But then when it starts to, they have to look at your code, audit your code, make recommendations. All of those things take time. But they will ask for a resolution to, so that they know that everybody's on board. And then once everybody's on board, then they start, because they're not gonna go do all of the work and go, oh, no, none of the council is on board, so. That's the buy-in, is the participation. They want you to put it online, they want you to promote it, they want you to get excited about it. Yes, that too.
And is there a percentage where we have to come up with money to on this, or is program 2 not?
Okay, yes and no. Yes, that's generally required, but no, if you're from a financially disadvantaged county.
So we can get a waiver of some of it. There may still be a small fee.
Don't think there would be.
Well, it wouldn't hurt to try.
Yeah, we tried this a couple of years ago. There was nobody working here at the time who had the faintest idea how to do this.
You have? Oh, okay.
So did you think about a grant in the past?
Mhm.
For,
For this,
what program?
the TGM program
For program
For-
2, comprehensive?
for the comprehensive plan. Mhm.
Because after we do that, if next year or the year after to apply for the transportation system, it would be awesome if we could like get sidewalks from City Hall up to Osprey Point, because anything to do with children, handicap, disability, would get extra points. Can you imagine what that would be like that?
Well, planning in general, so that you can build differently to encourage growth. I mean, there isn't any benefit when you don't have property tax, but you would still like to encourage growth.
All right.
What is the action being sought from the council?
For your approval to go forward with the application.
All right, so a motion for that?
I move we should direct Kristen to go forward with the application.
Second.
All right, I have a motion by Counselor Pointer to direct Krista to go ahead and go forward with the TGM grant program, and a second by Counselor Miller. Any further discussion? All right, put it up for vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right. Next item on the agenda, item 16, records request resolution.
Mayor, may I say a little bit about this? Counselor Ward came with his things from our work section. And we did work through some of those. One of the things I left in there was the fee schedule. If you have a fee schedule that outside of this resolution that would allow us to recover staff time, we would suggest not to have it in here. But being that we don't recover staff time, it is, in my opinion, appropriate to leave it here for now. When we redo the fee schedule and we can change this from a resolution to an ordinance. And for now, it allows us to do what it needs to do.
Do I have a motion? Then we can discuss it after the motion's on the table. Yeah, but I just put a motion on the table, then you go into discussion about the changes, and then. Okay, we can just, yeah, whatever, that works first, let's do changes first.
I think you might want to actually schedule a work session because we scheduled it, but we didn't get to it. And your action item says that it was discussed item on a work session and we didn't get to, I think there's. I mean, we can go through it and make changes and stuff, but I think we should have a work session on it. Because there's errors in it. I mean, like, the page 1, pavilion, certain name of city.
Oh.
I just think we should go ahead and schedule the work session that we originally talked about.
That has been, corrected in the update. Up to you.
I do think we did decide that we wanted to discuss it, and then we didn't. So, I like following through with that work session, good idea.
Anybody else's thoughts on it?
I agree with the work session.
I think we need
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we tack that on to our next one then, February 27th? And we'll be discussing both of those.
Is there a motion to table?
No.
Or to,
Should I make a motion that we move these items to? Without.
I do believe it was proposed for an action item.
Do I have a motion on the table then? To table it, move it to the next work session for discussion. You said it was an action item. For doing business.
Sure, I'll make motions. I move that we table the discussion of the records request resolution until a work session could be scheduled.
Does it option A, we could have done option A, send it back for revision to a work session. So not table it, but send it in your motion to.
I'm happy to modify the motion that we think that.
All right, a motion has been made and modified by Councilor Han to send back resolution 2025-02 and 2025-03 for discussion at the next work session, and it was seconded by Councilor Armstrong. Is there any discussion? No, great. We will take it to a vote. All those in favor of tabling this to the next workshop, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes unanimously, and that will be tabled to next work session on February 27th. Okay, and then the added item to the agenda, number 16. I'll just call it 17 for the correspondence. This email was regarding staff and regarding a specific, it was addressed as a complaint, and I would like to look at the formal complaint process and talk to legal counsel about that, and what to do about that before saying anything else in the meeting.
That's a wise choice.
Right. Whether we decide to do anything with that, we will go forward from there, but I'm not saying anything else. That's legal.
The Does anybody else in the packet get their trail, CPAF? Email? It was in the middle of my packet. It says that for the audit, where they want certain items to do the audit.
Sometimes when we're doing the packet and somebody else prints, it will print in the middle of us copying, so, apologies for that. That wasn't meant to be there. No,
Okay, so you're moving into our. And we'll start with the watershed, Coastal Miller.
Things kind of slow with the watershed right now, just weather-wise. You know, finishing up the Benson Creek project, a few little fencing issues, and then waiting for some better weather and start on the Big Creek project, wetlands restoration project.
All right, water district, Counselor Quinn.
Been 2 water district meetings since our last meeting, and they continue to discuss their rate increase and their modification of their plant and the upgrades that they're making. That's all going fairly smoothly. Sounds like some of the public outcries slacked off a little bit. They do have, as all special districts do, 2 members up for elections. Anybody would consider being on the water board, possibility.
All right, the 10 Mile Lakes Association, Counselor Wood.
Hey, the 10 Mile Lakes Association met on February 5th. And they had some discussion about the level of the lake. You are a hardcore fan of the lake level gauge that's on their website. Working again. They discussed some concerns about the lake level dropping faster than is typical at this time of year. And they believe it's due to low January rainfall coupled with changes to the geography of the outflow of the ocean that was made by the Forest Service a few years back. There's also discussion about algae. Algae sampling is ongoing and there's currently no warning in place. And they also talked about, with no decisions, talked about several possible approaches to algae reduction. And that includes reduction of nutrients from the watershed. They have some projects going on for that. They, like city staff, are excited about the potential for biochar. You're familiar with that? That's another way to remove nutrients before they get to the lake. And someone has approached them with the possibility of floating solar power sonic devices that supposedly remove algae. They're doing research on that. The annual lake cleanup event is scheduled for April 26th. And their next meeting is April 2nd at 5:30 p.m. at the lodge.
Fire district, Counselor Quinn.
Well, there are again two meetings since our last council meeting. Continue to do around 50 calls a month, and 60% of them on the north side of the railroad tracks, which causes more concern that we need a station on that side. I'm just working on that. The fire station rebuild project should start construction probably in mid-May. And that would be about a 1.5-year process because we're building up to seismic standards. And there again, we have 2 members up for election. Opportunity if anybody's interested.
Great, thank you. Lakeside business owners, Counselor Wood.
So the OEO has kind of been taking a break in January and most of February, a lot of people out of town right now. But before the end of February, I believe we will be having a meeting to start discussing spring and summer events.
Thank you. Code enforcement, had no meetings. Senior board. Counselor Armstrong.
They had 2 meetings. They meet the second Tuesday of every month. They were really working hard for grants. They have previously received 2 grants, one from CHIP and one from United Way. Both have now been completed and closed out. They just received a new CHIP grant and a new SCBET grant for $25,000. They are using the $25,000 for flooring in the senior building to replace the old pocket with planking. In the entryway, dining room, kitchen, and bathrooms, they are also purchasing a small refrigerator with that grant. The flooring is scheduled to begin March 10th. They have a lot of work to do, moving everything out so the work can begin on March 10th. They don't, I didn't get how long it's going to be. They're going to try and do the entryway first so that they have, they're going to move all the kitchen stuff and go all the way to it. Underneath it and everything rather than just go on top. So there's a lot of work they're doing moving. And now that the contractor has a signed contract, the building of the new ramp is scheduled to begin February 17th, weather permitting, and they're not sure how long that's going to take also. The next senior breakfast is Saturday, March 8th. And a reminder to save your McKay's receipts for the seniors. They receive 1 cent for every $1. There's a container in the senior entryway for you to drop the receipts off. And I was quite surprised to know that with the receipts, they get about $100 every other month. So that's very impressive.
Thank you, library board. I did not make it to the meeting. I need to figure out when those are. But according to Cheryl's report, they got the $1,000 for the Ready to Read grant. It'll be used for the summer reading program. I have participated in the summer reading program the last 2 or 3 years. It's a really great program, so I'm looking forward to that again this year. Right now, the library staff is preparing for all those summer events. For anybody that doesn't know, they do snack time, they do story time, they get to do activities, they get to go out on the lake, they get to go to the dunes and do a big dune ride. Lots of really awesome things they have planned. It looks like they got 10 new chairs. And they're getting ready for their book sale on March 8th. It'll be at the same time as the senior breakfast.
Thank you. Next is announcements.
You don't forget the holiday train.
Yeah.
I have a question. So the senior building, is that our building or?
Yeah.
It's the cities. Wouldn't they normally come and ask like the library does to do repairs? Not that I'm down on them. That's great that they're doing that.
That
Just
would be
so-
a good question for you to pull announcement. I don't know. I'm just reporting.
Oh, okay.
Let's talk about the holiday train. Can we all agree as council that the holiday train is going to go up this year?
Yes.
Yes. All right, and we will see about getting a plug, what we can do at some point this year. Yeah. All right. And then, there was one in the past, we had some announcements, right?
I really don't. We're trying to get by right now. So if you have any questions, I mean, I have a couple staff reports in there and a lot of coordination with trying to keep up with the contracts, the ARPA staff finishing with the e-permitting. That's 4 hours at minimum a week, and just in the training, coordination with Northwest Coast, with the building inspector. So we're just trying to keep up.
All right, mayor and council comments, we'll start, California North.
Yeah. Thanks for interest in serving the city, everybody that applied. And I'm excited that we take another big step forward on the new sewer plant. The bids going out. Excited about that.
Well, I just think it was a pretty productive meeting tonight. Yeah.
thanks to everyone here that keeps coming to these meetings and sitting through them. I know they're long and difficult at times, but I understand you guys have learned a lot since I've been in that seat. So please do keep coming and participating.
So, before after the workshop, me and Councilor Harden attended Capitol Day and met with our local senators, which in turn we were able to have Senator
Boomer.
Boomer Wright out here to visit our representative. Long night. Representative Wright out here to our sewer plant, and because we were in his office and talking to him, we were able to get a last minute request for $1.5 million for our sewer plant to go on the House floor. And he did us a big favor by doing that because he had already submitted all of his bills. So cross your fingers that Lakeside gets that, because that would be great. I talked to the contact in the Port of Coos Bay about involving Lakeside in the discussion for the rail line. I know they're working with Reedsport a lot. But they want to set up a meeting so we can talk about, the effect it's going to have on Lakeside. I met with Sheriff Fabrizio and Sergeant Sanborn about public safety. We're hoping, we did mention it in the workshop, but we're hoping to have a public safety town hall meeting in probably March. Haven't pinned down a date, but end of March, hopefully maybe at the Lions Club or something, get a town hall going and discuss public safety options in Lakeside. And that's all I have at the moment. Thank you for everyone who came and showed up, and thank you for the applicants. Yeah.
Thank you once again, everybody, for coming, and thank you, Mayor, for getting that possible one something million. That's going to be awesome. That may take us over what we need.
I'd just like to echo Councilor Miller's comments and thank those who volunteered to serve.
Well, yes, thanks everyone for coming, and if you have a tale to tell, you're talking about a dog tank, and I've spent some time with them. Worked for a company in Salem that had a yearly party. The first 2 years I did it because I was, but I did it because the old relationship dead. The third year, I was like, day and the hot water heater failed, so the water was ice cold. That was one of the worst experiences I've had in my life. All of these, absolutely warm water in the tank.
I don't feel like resetting your nervous system.
I do want to also thank everyone sitting up here, staff, and all of the volunteers who are up here for council. And it's, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes and a lot of things that people doing to try to make Lakeside better. So it's not just meetings, it's a lot more than that. So thank you guys for being a good team. I think that's it. I'm gonna.
May I? Sorry, I forgot to add one thing. I did talk to City Manager Deanna Schaefer for the public safety, and we need to outline exactly what it is that we want with the county line issues, who would be citing who. That poses some challenges, but if they are just a pipeline presence, she thinks that's workable. So, and I also talked with Chief Doug Barrett and the Confederated Tribes Chief, and he was supposed to be attending tonight. I don't know if he was, but he's going to start coming to more council meetings.
All right, I'm going to adjourn this meeting at 8:32 p.m.